Hey, hey, y'all. What is going on? What are y'all doing tonight besides chilling with me? Hey, sis, how you doing? Okay, so we're going to talk about Dahmer tonight because it's crazy. It is crazy. I have watched the whole thing. I was going to watch it again. Um, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was just like, nope, I can't. So, in any case, um, I'm going to bring up special guests. And then also, if you guys want to join the panel and talk about this, I'm going to drop the link so you guys can too. Let me see. Hang on, Key. I see you. So, join the panel. All right, there we go. Now I got the right I got the right link now, so we're good. Okay, so you guys, I watched Dahmer. It was absolutely insane. It was crazy. And I was like, oh my God, there are so many things that I didn't know about this guy. And I've heard so many reviews. So I was like, we're going to do a live review. I know some of you have not finished watching this. Some of y'all are like, I'm never watching it. Even though it's gross, I would definitely advise you to watch it only if you are interested in understanding. Now, some people are like, well, they're glamorizing it. They're glamorizing him. It's not that. It is simply what goes on in the mind of somebody like that, and to get like an understanding, because the big question is why? Why would somebody do something like this? And he explains himself as best as he can. I've never seen like original clips of Jeffrey Dahmer until like this whole thing. It's massively crazy. It is disturbing. It's insane. But we're going to get into the conversation. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to bring up another YouTuber. Her name is Key Young. She's from right here on YouTube. She's a lifestyle vlogger. She is in the middle of watching this. So we're going to get her reaction. And I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say. Hi, Purple. I'm good. I am. Um, my mind is like just, you know, boggled because of all of the things, because of this, Dahmer person. All right, Key, what's up, girl? How you doing?
Hey, hey, Chloe.
Hi. How are you? How are
I'm fine.
you?
How are you?
Girl, I'm alive. That's all I can say right now is I'm
Amen.
alive. So, what did you think so far about
Mm,
Dahmer?
Lord, my daughter just entered the room. It's disturbing. Very
Very
disturbing.
much so. It's
Honestly, I don't
crazy.
even know if I even want to finish it. Really, Mira? Okay, well, turn it
I
down.
mean,
Turn it down.
because like I said, I was gonna watch it again. I was gonna watch it again, to get my key points and all that, and I just really couldn't do it. Like I could not click
I,
the series. It's just like,
I think I'm on
never mind.
episode
Somebody.
six. I think I'm on episode six. I
Oh my
think.
God, episode six
It's
is
when he raped the
episode
Asian
six is
boy. I think when
crazy.
he raped the Asian boy.
Yo, episode six is like by far everybody keeps talking about episode six. Like it is the worst episode, is the most disturbing. I found it to be very disturbing. I just was so upset with the police department. I was so upset for the neighbor because she knew, you know what I'm saying, something was going on, that her daughter and her niece knew that something wasn't right, and yet once once Jeff said, "This is my boyfriend," they immediately got the heebie-jeebies and was like, "Well, oh my God, he's gay," and I'm just like, "What does that have to do with anything? This boy does not look like an adult. He looks
which he
like
was
a
a
child.
child.
And I yeah, and I saw, the original pictures and the original footage. There's no way you could think that was a
Right.
grown man. There's no way. Like he was a little
He was.
boy. And I was just like, what what was going through this dude's mind? Like why would you child? Like I thought this was about your fascination with people not leaving you. So what does that have to do with the kids? Like it was just but like at this point I don't even think he cared that it was a kid. Like I
Wasn't
don't
he just messing with like 18-year-olds? Like he was just going
Yeah,
like,
like they were grown men. He was going to the club. So I'm like, where did you find this kid? Because his most thing
outside
was
the
like the
liquor store.
club, yeah, the bathhouses and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, this is
Yeah, I
weird.
remember that part. My thing is how he literally could get away with all that because, like, he literally was in the bathhouse. He was drugging people. Why wasn't he already in jail for that? Why didn't
And
they take
people were talking about it. Like even the guy at the bathhouse was just like, he told the police. And it's like, okay, when you hear drugging people, immediately handcuffs should come out.
right? Definitely. It shouldn't be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, um, I had stopped watching it. I had got to the part not when he raped the little brother, but when he raped the oldest brother. I know I remember seeing the beginning where the little brother he lured the little brother in, and I was kind of like, I know you're 14, but you know what he did to your oldest brother. Why would you put yourself in that situation? But he said he needed the money, but still, like, mm-mm. But I mean, if he was going to get revenge or something like that, maybe I could see. But as far as him just going
Yeah, like
because he
that would
needed
have been
money,
different. Like, let's go get some revenge or whatever. But that was just
yeah,
crazy. Like, I wouldn't have even. I'd have been like, "What now? Do what?" Like, no,
yeah,
it's okay.
exactly. He said he needed
I'm
the
with
money,
it.
but he hanging outside of the liquor store.
Right. I'd have been like,
Mm.
"That's okay. Don't even worry about it. Forget about it." So when you first started watching it, like episode one, what were your thoughts? Were you like, "That's it. I'm done"?
Well, the first episode, I was actually into it because I was like, okay, so we seeing him, he doing whatever. Of course, his neighbor is annoyed with him. She don't like him. So he gives. So it's funny because he literally gave her this bullcrap excuse. First, it was the meat smell, and then it was the fish.
Right.
And so I'm kind of like,
Wasn't like barbecue a new way to cook barbecue or something? And I was like, barbecue does not smell like human flesh. You it like
right,
Hey
right.
Savonda. No, barbecue does not smell like human flesh. What are you talking about, mister? I was just like, that was
Right.
so disgusting. And it was like, she was like, it's hard, to stay in here, but this is my home and all that. I probably would have moved
I would have
because
been gone.
roadkill don't smell like that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it
saying? It's
sure
like
don't. And
if you
everybody
never
roll past
smell,
roadkill.
if you
Like
never
they
smell,
say you're
yeah,
they say we're automatically supposed to be repulsed by the smell of human flesh.
if you
So
have
when you
never smelled
smell
it
it,
before, you will
yeah,
never forget that smell. Like
yeah, they
it
say
is
when you they say it
horrible.
hits you in the face. Like
It's
if you
different.
outside and you walking towards a house that has a dead body in it, they say once you open the door, it'll hit you. Like
Hmm.
it
You
shouldn't
like
be
you
like,
can smell it from out. Like it just is strong. It's repulsive. Like you
yeah,
cannot
yeah, you can smell
get
it
it out of your
from
mind.
outside. Like,
It's
yeah.
crazy. So
And
what the heck? What the heck?
I, I, the police department, they should really feel ashamed of themselves because what this man was traveling with a whole dead body in the car and he got pulled over because he was drunk driving.
And they let him go, talking about you're too young,
Right.
and I'm gonna let you go because you
You,
have your whole
you
life
got your
ahead
whole
of
life
you,
ahead of you.
and you don't need
Bull
this on
crap.
your record. You don't need this on your record. And I'm just like, if that had been somebody else,
But I'm gonna drink my water on that.
my whole thing was before this, a lot of people, just thought he was like, a hateful person. and they thought, okay, he's killing a lot of black people, a lot of, maybe he hated black gays or something like that. And the reverse part is he loved
Stop, Mira.
black people. He was gay, yes, but he adored black people. And it was like, look at your skin. It's so chocolate. It's so divine. It's so lovely. And, I, and it was just like, I just don't understand. The one thing that got me was the guy that he fell in love with. He was trying to develop trust, and he almost got away with it. But the guy left something in his apartment, and he had to go back, and that's where he messed up. And I was like, when he goes back to get whatever it is he left, like, that's it. Because I mean, like, seriously, Jeff was beside himself when the boy left. He was like, oh my God, what do I do now? I have to sit here and I have to wait for him because he told me to trust him. And, when he gets back from his, modeling job, he's going to come back. He's going to, be with me because the guy was like really feeling him. Jeff had already fallen in love. So it was like, you guys are in a relationship. How do you off somebody that you're in a relationship with? And I'm
That's
like,
very just sick.
that's the part I thought his brain should have been studied. His brain should have been studied. They were just like, throw it away. But I'm like, when you get to that part, you'll be pissed off too because it's like, I need to know, was there a chemical imbalance? You saw the part where the drugs were involved, like his mom was taking a whole bunch of medication because what did they diagnose her with postpartum depression? Did her drugs have, a part in his dad said something about him having surgery when he was, a bit like there's so many, possibilities to, why, this happened. And then I thought about what his dad said. His dad was like, well, I had the same thoughts when I was, younger. But the whole series, the dad was like, I didn't raise you to be like this. I don't understand, and not listening to this guy. My thing was, you have to listen to your kids. This guy was trying to tell you his whole lifetime, he was trying to tell you, Dad, there's something wrong with me. I'm not normal. But why aren't you listening to this guy? Because all of this could have been avoided. All of
Right.
this could have been avoided, and he could have got the help he needed. But instead, all of this craziness and him being a monster was because he was lonely and he didn't trust people to stay with him. He didn't want anybody to leave.
And his fascination with, you know, insides and
Oh, that was a whole nother animal in itself. And I do blame his dad for that because, oh my God, who teaches a kid how to slay roadkill? Like, who does that? Like, I get, okay, I can understand you. You go fishing, you're gonna eat the fish, you have to gut the fish. But
right,
roadkill,
weird within itself. I mean, his parents add just a lot of they add a lot of it because you got his mother, she left. She's a drug addict basically. She's on pills and then you and then so she tells him like you're never here. But my thing is that you never really paid any attention to him either because you're wanting the dad for yourself. You wanted all the dad's attention and you're blaming it on, I want you here. I want you here. And I'm just like,
I don't know. I just felt like she had something against Jeff. Like, I don't know what it was, but I just felt like she didn't like him. She always coddled the younger son, but she just didn't really care for
Dev,
Jeff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was
yeah,
weird too. I was just like, what do you have against Jeff? Like, what did he do to you? He's a child. Um, did you look too much like your father? Like, was that it? Because you know how women get or whatever. You look just like your dad. Like, was that it? Like, I don't know. But
oh yeah,
the thing that bothered me about her is she needed psychiatric help because throughout the entire series, she was always trying to commit suicide
yep,
every day, like every week, every month. The
taking a
guy,
whole bunch of pills.
the
When she was
husband gets out of the
pregnant,
car the husband gets out of the car and goes, "Did she finally do it?" Then I'm like, "That's odd."
it ain't funny, but
That's that's different. That's weird.
Did she finally do it? Ain't funny, but how you just get out the car and say, did she finally do it? And
I was like,
then,
he must hate her guts. Like, what husband says that? Did she finally do it? I'm like,
yeah, I
that's
was kind of
that was
shook at that
weird.
too.
That was weird. That was definitely weird. I don't know, the whole thing. You are going to flip out when you get to like the rest of the series. You're like, we're gonna figure there's some stuff that happened in this series that it just blew my mind. It literally blew it. Even the way that he passed away blew my mind because I didn't even really, and I knew that he wouldn't be sitting on death row to get executed because they didn't have execution in his state. But I thought, well, he's going to be there for the rest of his life, and they were gunning for him to get psychiatric help, which he did have a psychiatrist in prison, but because he said, I was in my right mind. I knew exactly. I remember everything, you know. And the attorney was like, "Oh, well, you should go for, insanity. You were insane when you were doing this." And he was like, "No, I wasn't. I was not insane. I was not insane. I knew exactly what I was doing. I remember everything." So when you have somebody who's like that and they are telling you, "Hey, listen, I'm all here," but it's just the impulse to do this was just like too strong, and he didn't even get it himself until he got psychiatric help. It was like, you have a fear of being alone, and for me, I felt like that played a part in him wanting to get caught. Number one, and one, or he didn't say he wanted to get caught. He said he was waiting to get caught. And number two, he didn't care if he lived. He was just like, if you guys could give me, the electric chair, because in his head, he was probably thinking, I'm going to do this in prison as well, which was my fear. I was like, this man, they're
Hmm.
going to lock him up, and he is going to start killing prisoners, or what do you call it, the correctional officer? Like he's gonna start killing people in the prison. Like that, I knew. Like when they took him to jail, I was like, oh, that's the worst thing you could do.
Honestly, I kind of thought that he was just gonna like. I thought he was already gonna be by the prisoners because for one thing, he started targeting black men,
Yeah.
and he knew that he was getting away with it because look where he moved to. He got away with so much living over here, and he kept doing it, and he kept doing it.
Mhm.
Um, I'm just kind of like, I kind of felt like he did want to get caught, but to the point that he knew
Mhm.
that he was gonna get off because one of them was gonna take him out. I already knew that he wasn't gonna survive in prison that long.
That was the thing for me. I was like, if he doesn't get somebody, somebody's gonna get him. If he doesn't get
Definitely.
somebody, yeah. If he doesn't get somebody, somebody's gonna get him. And I knew it, from the jump or whatever, because I was just like, and him manifesting it and wanting, not to be alive anymore was just like, I was like, and I felt sorry for the young Jeff, not the adult,
Yeah.
but for the young Jeff
Yeah, I did
because
too.
he was alienated, he was avoided, he didn't have any friends, and then when he started growing up and he was like a teenager in school, the one thing, and I shouldn't have laughed, but when you bring a six pack of beer to class, I was just like,
When he
you
did
brought
that,
a
I
six.
was like, oh, I know he didn't just sit there and bring a whole pack of beer to class. Like,
Yes, it did. It cracked
I
it
said, what
open,
is wrong with
girl.
him?
Cracked it open. I was just like, mm-mm.
And I totally agree with what he just said.
Yeah, let me see what he's saying.
I totally agree what he just
All right,
said.
we've got information man says that he got away because the police in Milwaukee didn't give a dang about black folks being killed by him. They knew what he was doing. Exactly. We had just
Yep.
said that, information man. Like they knew because you had what's the lady Glenda, who was played by Niecy Nash. Okay,
Hmm.
so she kept calling,
Calling
and
and calling.
in a few months. They said she
Yep.
had made 58, 59 phone calls, whatever it says. Hundreds of phone calls had been made. People were telling the police or whatever. The fact that they got grossed out by, him being gay was just ridiculous. I was
Yep.
like,
And
how
yes,
does
and
that
yep,
keep you
that'll
from
do
doing your job? And then the fact that I was just like, that shouldn't have made a difference either, sir.
it.
That
Yeah,
shouldn't have made
he
a
was
difference
still
at
committing
all.
crimes, gay or not. Like he was
That
still
should
committing
not have.
crimes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a mess. Like all these black people going missing, and nobody was really doing anything about it. Like
I
did
mean,
nobody care?
nobody.
And then you have this one resident who kept smelling something
Yep.
raw and disgusting, and
But like,
nobody goes to see what it's about.
you
Nobody.
cannot
The
hardly
police goes there, but then what they do? He says, "Oh,
nothing.
because it's gay stuff in there." That ain't that, and oh, especially at the very beginning of the series, what tripped me out is when that little boy, when they found that little boy, and the police came inside his apartment,
Hmm.
and it was a dead body already in there on the floor, and I'm like,
Okay.
I
And
said,
then I saw the real Jeffrey Dahmer speak about that, and he was like, even he was amazed. The police went in the room and did not see anything. He said even he was shocked because he looked disappointed. He was like, oh man, I'm about to get caught or whatever, and he knew. You know what I'm saying? And that was the guy that he was in love with. That was the guy that he didn't want to leave. He was in love. Otherwise, he would have been chopped up. He would have been chopped up. He would have been put in the bucket or whatever. Um, and then after the police left is when he decapitated him and put his head in the refrigerator because he didn't want to be without him. And so he put his head in the refrigerator to keep him for as long as he could. Like
that is crazy.
that was his boyfriend. Like that was what like when his dad and stepmom came over and they said, well, what's going on with you? And he said, well, I have a new friend. That was the new friend that he was talking about. And I was just like, this is the weirdest thing on the planet. Like, if you don't want people to leave, you don't off them. Like, you don't kill them. But he just didn't, his mind couldn't comprehend
He was doing
keeping
it
somebody
somewhere.
alive. It was just, yeah, like I have no trust. Like, everybody in my life is going to leave me. And even in school, it was hard for him to make friends or whatever. But I'm just like, you took a pig home, dude. Like, you asked your teacher if you could take a pig home. Nobody is going to befriend you because you wanted to take. You have
And
to look at all
yeah,
of this stuff. Like, that's not normal. But to
it's
him,
not.
yeah, it's normal to him or whatever. He's just like, I can't help the way I am or whatever. Which I'm all for it. Be who you are, or whatever. But just know that when you want to take dead pigs home so that you can investigate a little bit deeper, you're probably not gonna have a whole lot of friends because not everybody thinks like that.
You're definitely right. You're
Purple
definitely right.
Purple Plays with Planner says he was evil. I feel like he did have some evil. And somebody said something in the Plainest James live the other day. There was just like some people don't have a chemical imbalance or something mental. Some people are just evil and some people aren't. I feel like there was something wrong with him because he knew what it was, but then also he did have a evil streak about him. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just weird. It was just really weird. Hey, Info Man, how are you?
Yeah.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
I am wonderful. I can hear you. Key, can you
Okay.
hear Info Man?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say a couple of things because I have to step off, get off the panel. Have some things I got to do.
Okay.
This is important.
Mhm.
When you do research about why he was killed in prison,
Yeah.
a lot of people think that he was killed in prison because it was a payback for what he did to black people.
Yeah.
But the
No.
fact of the matter is, the guy who killed him was a black guy. Said that
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
God
Jeffrey
told him to do it.
Dahmer's.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm
That's what
hear
he
what I'm going to
said.
tell you.
But
Oh
yeah.
well,
Hear what
yeah,
I'm about
that's
to
what he
tell you.
said. That's what he
Let me
said.
right because he went to court. But
Mhm.
this is the other part you have to keep in mind here because I know how this works because of the kind of work that I do.
Yeah.
Um, This is what happens in prison. The most important thing in prison is that these guys operate on respect and
Mhm.
disrespect. And when you disrespect other inmates, you
Yep.
can put your life in jeopardy. So what
Definitely.
And
happened is,
he was totally disrespectful with the food and creating the food to look like body parts and all this kind of
right,
stuff. He was complete. He disrespected
I didn't
the
even know he did
code.
that.
And
right.
oh yeah,
It,
like
it turned out that he was his own. He was mocking the basically the brother that I think he had a cellmate, a brother that was in cellmate with him. If they didn't have him, well, I don't think they were cell. I think they might have had him by himself, completely by
yeah.
himself. Yes, isolated. But one of the guy that actually took his life, he said he got tired of him playing around with his food,
Mhm.
taking ketchup, trying to make it into blood, taking
Yep.
lamb chops and doing things with the lamb chops, and that it
Mhm.
became annoying for some of the other inmates who
Yeah.
got sick of seeing what he was doing.
Wow.
Exactly.
And as a result
Yep.
of that, now check this out. It says here, this is the guy that did this the deed. He never said a word about Dahmer taunting anyone in prison or joking about his crime.
Yeah.
Um, he told me he had a hit list of 5 guys who he did not feel were worthy of words murder because of who and how they were killed.
Yeah.
So his he was he created a situation that got him killed in prison. They weren't fond of him either, but he created a
Exactly.
situation. But I gotta say this though, with all due respect, I do feel that the gay aspect of this guy, because I know the LGBTQ community, they will sort of use this aspect of him as that, oh, he was a gay male who was misunderstood. This is maybe why he, I don't care about his sexuality. Maybe even the men that he was able
Right.
to get into his apartment, they probably were
Yeah.
gay too. That I don't care about the
Exactly. They were.
sexuality. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, he killed people, whether it be gay,
Mm-hmm.
straight, or otherwise. So that's the part of the
Exactly.
Netflix flick that I think
Yeah.
is irrelevant. But
Very.
we gotta be honest here. The Netflix video, I have to be honest with you, it is disrespectful to the family members because they didn't
Yep.
get their permission. They didn't ask them how they felt about it, and I don't think they're getting any proceeds from this Netflix special. That's a problem.
That's the part that I just found out info is that I thought that they would have reached out to as many families as they could to get permission, but it was done um without their permission, and no, they're not getting any proceeds from this movie unless they sue.
I just
Um
think that they're trying to explore. I
so
think what they're doing is they're exploiting a horrific situation at the expense of black people all over again.
yeah. And I
The
mean
Milwaukee
I
police
get it.
didn't care.
They didn't care. And I mean, I get wanting to show the who, what, when, where, and why the whole situation. I get that. I don't think that it was, glamorizing him as a murderer. I don't. I feel like you want people to understand and you want to show, you know, in your understanding what happened or whatever, but at least get a permission from the family. See how they feel about it because these families are now speaking out and they're saying, "Oh, well, I feel disrespected and it bothered me." And they're all coming out in the media and they're explaining their side of this situation. So I feel like in lieu of all of this, Netflix should at least come out with a series featuring the families and interviewing them to get their side. Because now we've seen Jeffrey's side, but what about
Well,
the people who really matter? Is the people
they
who
should
lost?
have done that in the first
Yeah.
Yeah,
place. They should
they
have
should
had
have
a
done
Yeah,
that
they
from the
definitely
documentary
straight.
in
should
the
have.
first place. And they do good jobs with documentaries. I don't know why they I think this
Exactly.
I think this movie was basically because let's just keep it honest, be honest here. Netflix has taken a couple of hits with their ratings lately. They've lost a lot of
Well, they
subscribers.
have, yeah, and
So
they're
I
in
think
bankruptcy. So
right. So I think
yeah,
this movie was also another way for them to use shock value to get people to watch them and watch this
exactly.
particular movie at the expense of what happened to those black folks. I just got to be honest about
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna drop off. I appreciate you sisters and having
Okay.
this discussion. Jeffrey
Thank
Dahmers
you for
is
coming.
he's a crazy dude.
Very
Hey,
sick.
thank you. I know the
All right,
minds of
info.
serial. I know the minds of serial killers. There's something else.
Well,
Take
shoot,
care.
let me tell you, I could not do your job, okay? But
Yeah, I couldn't either.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a whole nother
yeah,
show. But thank you so
yeah.
much. And I have been watching you. You had some really good shows lately. I'm gonna pop in and say hi one day.
Oh no problem at all. You're always welcome to the panels and what. Oh, but you know what? I was thinking about you as it related to the whole cutie
The
cutie
sweetie
pie,
pies. Oh,
and
it's not over yet.
the
It's not
fact
over
that
yet
we gotta
because
do a show. We
that
gotta do a show together because
yeah.
um
Did you
um
see my last video? That they
yeah.
want a new trial, so it's not
But the,
even over yet. We
but
thought
the
it was
thing
over, but
but the thing that kills me is that his own nephew or his nephew that he killed. There was some information out there that he kind of knew that he wanted to kill him prior to this all happening.
yes.
What?
Yeah, that he
Yeah,
Oh,
knew.
there are
yeah.
like
I'm
documents,
not that
text
far in it yet.
messages.
I'm
Ooh,
not
Yes,
it's
that far
crazy.
in it yet.
let me
Yeah, it's
stop,
crazy.
child.
Y'all
That's a
ladies,
whole nother show.
yeah, y'all ladies take care. Peace.
Bye,
Bye.
info.
All right, bye bye.
Yeah, that's we're gonna have another conversation about Tim Norman. I'm gonna have to let you catch up on the videos for Tim Norman because that's a whole nother situation. It's about as gruesome, but there's only one person involved, but it's just as gruesome. But going back to Dahmer for a few more minutes. Okay, so Purple Paisley says that she doesn't feel sorry for him. He will
Yep.
answer to God, and that Netflix is glorifying him.
Yeah, they
I don't
glorify
know.
her now.
I was like, okay. The thing is, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say because I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective. And I totally understand where Information Man was coming from because he works with these types of people, and I totally get that there is a code in prison where you respect each other regardless of what you've done because almost everybody in there is guilty of something. And if you're in maximum security, then you probably killed somebody or some people. So we get that, all right. So there was no judgment in there for you did that unless there was a child involved. I feel like the guy that bludgeoned him to death once he was reading the documents from the library, and once he discovered the brown boy, the what was he, 14 years old, and he started crying, and man, I felt like his mind just snapped because he had a chemical imbalance. Even though he's an author, he's a poet, and all of the things, he just had that chemical imbalance that made him snap sometimes. So I feel like that's when he snapped and he was like, God told me to do this or whatever. That's what he told Jeffrey. But in the meantime, he did say, I'm sick of you disrespecting people and you disrespecting, other people. Now it wasn't just Jeffrey Dahmer that was offed that day. There was somebody else
Yeah,
in that same
somebody
group
else.
that was
Yep.
separate. Yeah, so there were two people. It was Jeffrey Dahmer and somebody else or whatever, for similar, reasons. So the respect issue in there is really high or whatever. And I just like pray to God I never do anything to be in prison at all because I am not the one. I would have a heart attack before I even got there. They wouldn't even have to lock me up because I would probably have a heart attack before I even got in there. But I don't want to, have to deal with that. But when he got arrested, in my mind, I was thinking that Jeff is probably going to keep to himself. You know what I'm saying? But the antics that he kept doing as the series went on, I was like, somebody is going to get him because he's snapping. He's having those feelings again. Like Info said, playing with his food, mimicking different body parts and stuff like that was just really not normal at all. And it wasn't to antagonize other people. It was just him and his fixation. You know what I'm saying? It was like I'm getting those urges again. And I feel like, and I hate to say this, but I feel like yeah, it's better that he's gone than he start, killing prisoners or, killing the guards or, whoever's in there because he was in the room with the psychologist or the therapist. They were just in the room together. Granted, Jeffrey had his handcuffs on, but we've seen instances where a prisoner can have handcuffs on and still kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yep.
like, what if he had a snapped and that would have been the end of the therapist. I was just like, and the therapist wasn't afraid at all. And I'm just like, did you know that, I mean, could you tell that he wasn't, at his wits' end at that particular time? Like, why aren't you afraid? Like, now, a lot of people, the question, key that a lot of people had also was the grandmother. A lot of people were like, well, what happened to the grandmother? He did not kill his grandmother. His grandmother died of natural causes. She was fine. So that was nothing to worry. But why wasn't she afraid of Jeffrey? I feel like she wasn't afraid of Jeffrey because his dad was a lot very similar. Um, that's just my take on it. I feel like his dad was very similar, and she kept calling his dad when Jeffrey was living with the grandmother. She kept calling him to see if the dad could do something because I feel like she knew her son was crazy too. She knew the dad was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I just feel like it all could have been avoided. I mean, if they just took everything seriously and stopped in like just because he killed a certain type of people, whether it's gay people, trans people, bisexual people, everybody
I
should
mean,
just
this
be
could have
treated
been
like human
anybody.
beings. Yeah, like
Yeah, I mean
everybody
the
should be
now.
treated like human beings. And the fact that they were black just add insult to injury because they did not
Yeah,
like gay people. They could not stand gay
right.
people. And so just them being black, it just
Hmm.
that's why they really didn't take it seriously. Honestly, I really don't think it's really
Hmm.
because they were gays in the slightest,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it was really because they were black and they didn't care. All them black
I
people
think
gone missing and nobody was taking action at
yeah,
all.
because
And that's
I'm looking and I'm gonna pull this up before we get out of here. I'm gonna pull this up and see if I can. I don't know if you get. I want to be able to show it, but I want you guys to be able to see the actual victims. I don't want to.
those are the victims. Wait.
Yeah, I want to hold on.
Oh yeah, you pulling it
I'm
up.
trying to get a better. Yeah, I'm trying to get a better picture.
Your little bonnet coming off. Here.
So here's the victims. Get off my screen. Okay, here's the victims, and like I said, you can tell that these
That's
people
sad.
are. Yeah, like you can tell that are younger, the ones that are older. Not
And older
every.
and
I mean,
younger.
it was yeah, it was mostly black and brown. There's a couple white people, but mostly black and brown. And I feel like this is the reason why people didn't care. Red
Right,
House was
definitely.
off. He was obviously white, but they missed him. Hicks was obviously white, but they missed him. But you have a lot of black and brown, and these people were overlooked because of the color of their skin. Like they just
Right.
like really didn't care. Hughes, I think, was the one that he considered Hughes his boyfriend. He was,
Yeah.
a model, and he they depicted him as really good looking, but he was deaf, so he had a disability. Overlooked that, and he didn't care. And I mean, they went on dates, they went out, they hung out, like it was just, and that's the thing that still boggles me. It will always boggle my mind to this day. You guys went out, y'all had several, um, y'all had several dates. Y'all had several dates. So what was it about when he came to your house that you just was like, oh my God, I don't want you to
Yeah.
leave.
Like
Oh my God.
you gotta kill him.
What was that about? What was that all about? I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay here. How do I know that you're going to, come back?
I feel like
I'm
if
just
he really had
like,
that problem, he should have just said something about it instead of killing him. If he was really in love with that boy, I kind of felt
because
like,
he
regardless
acted.
if he was a killer, like if you felt that way, then say something. Like
Well,
don't
at
just
this point,
awful.
he wasn't going to at this point because nobody's listened to him his whole life.
But yeah,
So the guy said, I'll be back after, my job. I'll come here. I'll go home, I'll see mom, and I'll come here. So I'll see you, when I come back. And Jeff said, how do I know that? And the guy said, trust. And he was writing in his little pad and he was doing sign language because again he was deaf and mute, so he couldn't speak, he couldn't hear. And so he signed to Jeff the sign language for trust on his chest, and so Jeff did it back, and then he left. And so Jeff, he wasn't fine with it, but it was like, I'm going to have to deal with this. He was almost about to learn, what trust is like or whatever, and then the guy had to come back to Jeff's apartment and get something that he forgot, and that's when we knew, you know, don't go back in there, don't go back in there, please. And he went back in there, and then Jeff got him.
dang.
He just couldn't stand it. Like he just like when you get to that part, you're gonna be like, why? Like it was just weird to see how this guy's brain works, to see how somebody like in action, to see, and then the real clips of his interview in prison was astonishing because it's just like I can't fathom it because I don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a normal person, you don't think like that. So it's up when somebody tells you, "Yo, there's something wrong with me. I'm not normal." You need to listen.
Definitely. Like he taking out like somebody's family member,
Yeah. Cousin
like
Paisley said somebody's brother, somebody's son, uncle, friend, like all of these people had a role to play. And it seems like all of these people on this screen had families that loved them dearly. Like every last one of these people on the screen. Their families were looking for them, their families wanted them back. So there was nobody that didn't have anybody. And that's the thing that you notice about Jeffrey Dahmer is that most murderers like this will look for somebody who doesn't have anybody wanting them back. You know, well, are you married? Do you have friends? Do you have this? Do you have? Jeffrey never asked. Jeffrey never asked that question because he didn't care. Jeffrey didn't care if you had somebody waiting for you at home or not.
not right now. Now. Not right now.
He was like obsessed with mommy, I swear.
Girl, I'm about to send it to you. I'm telling you. Sending them
Well,
both.
come on
'Cause
down,
they
come
both
on down to
acting
Alabama.
they both acting just crazy.
Come
Like
on
she
down to
just woke
Alabama.
up. She's gonna be up for a while now. Cause she took a long nap. Mommy. What? 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 Yeah, I don't know. But what mirror? Oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the kissy. Mwah. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I love you too. Thank you. Okay, that don't mean y'all start fighting each other. That don't mean y'all start fighting. But honestly, the more I see, I don't even know. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna try to finish it whenever we get off here.
That
I'm
was
gonna
what
go
I
in
was
there.
about to ask you. I was about to say, are
I'm
you
gonna
going
try
to
to
finish?
finish it. I'm gonna try to finish it.
Yeah.
Um, it's so disturbing, and all throughout, I'm just like, what is going on? Like, just the crazy thing it was to me was when he got arrested for doing the what in public.
Mhm.
I'm like, how can you just do that in a public set? And then well, not to mention he was definitely alcoholic because boy was throwing him back them
Yeah.
beers. So I'm just, but even still, like in public though, like that was now. I thought that blew my mind until I was watching the rest of the show. Like I know, I really haven't seen nothing yet.
Girl, I'm
I'm gonna
telling
definitely
you.
go in there and I'm gonna definitely try to watch it because
Because
I
we're definitely we're gonna have a part two. I just had to come on early because I gotta go get my grandchildren because my daughter said that they were driving her crazy. Where's my grandma? So I gotta go get them. So I was like, I'm gonna have to come on early. So we're definitely gonna do a part two. This is just part one.
definitely
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do a part two and talk about this because my godbrother's daughter wants to come on and talk about the whole thing, and she was not finished watching it, so I don't even think she finished watching it because she probably would have called in or whatever. So I was just like, well, we'll do a part two, but I promised that I was gonna come on tonight and talk about this and start the conversation because there were a
yeah.
lot of, as you can see, and what I understand was the 17 victims that were found. Um, these are the people that they knew. Now there could be other people we don't know, and
I
we'll
believe it was
probably,
more than
yeah, we
17.
probably never will never know.
Yeah, I think it was more than 17 because ain't no way it
Yeah,
was just 17 people. And he had that mindset since he was
yeah,
in high school, not to mention he took a life
yeah,
already. So I believe
yeah.
it was more than 17 people. Like you said, we may never know. We
May
probably
never
ain't gonna
know.
never know now. He gone. So
Yeah,
it was probably more than that. He probably just didn't want to say, but what, sweetheart? What? What, sweetheart? But yeah, I'ma definitely finish it. Ugh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I thought my mind was blue before. Like I know I ain't seen nothing yet. I just know I ain't seen nothing yet. On top of that, on Facebook, they post everything on Facebook. So I'm a
yeah,
definitely So I definitely was seeing some stuff about what you was talking about, the guy that he fell in love with and how he
yeah.
came back. And then somebody had said when he came back, and I was just like, no, I was like,
Because
oh
you can't really have that's why I didn't put spoiler on here because you can't really have a spoiler alert on this thing because I can tell you about it, but there's nothing like actually seeing it. Like it's just wow, what? Like I feel like on one hand Netflix did a good job, but I just feel like on the other hand, they could have done better research. They could have reached out to the families. They could. There was a lot that they missed in the way of respect, respecting these people. So I just feel like they dropped the ball on a lot of different, and I
yeah,
would love to hear from the families. I mean,
me too.
I appreciate them putting, the court clippings in there and what the families had to say or whatever, but it is very minute compared to the entire series. I would really like for them to continue this with the other side so we can hear what they have to say and what happened, when they, were searching for their, people and all of this stuff. Because there's another side. It's not just Jeffrey's side and his family side and what happened to his family. And they were so upset because they didn't get any proceeds from the book when the dad wrote the book and all this kind of stuff. Like, okay, we see your side, but what about them?
Yeah, what
So
about
I'm
the
kind of
family,
like,
what they went
yeah.
through? And
So
I could just imagine what they're. I can't even.
exactly.
I can't even fathom of what they're going through. Like
Yeah.
it's it's sad. It's like they were young, and the fact that they were taken by this very sick individual,
Yeah,
and
and that's
like,
that's
what he
the
was trying to
perfect
do was
way
have
to put it.
fun,
Is that he was
but
sick? That's
he
the
was
perfect way to
definitely
put it.
sick
This
in the
man was
head.
sick. hmm
He was
He was
definitely
mentally sick.
sick. Uh-oh.
Okay, so we're gonna go, so you can finish watching, and we're gonna do part two probably next weekend. So you have a whole week to finish watching it. So next
Yeah,
Saturday we're gonna do part two.
yeah, I'm
So
gonna have
you
to wrap my
guys,
head around. I'm gonna have to wrap my head around because I'm still trying to get myself together after watching what I was just watching.
I'm trying
So
to tell you, it takes a minute. It definitely takes a minute. It takes a minute. But you are going to be pleasantly surprised at some things that happen, like when some certain people come in to talk to Glenda and get their views on things, whatever. She was finally heard by somebody important, as opposed to her calling the police over and over and over. And she got like a different place to live and all this kind of stuff. There are
yeah.
some good things, that happen in there, but then the majority of it is just gruesome. So, but anyway, Key, tell everybody where they can find you on social media. Tell them a little bit about your YouTube, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, cause now these two is fighting over this tablet. Okay, look, y'all. That's why I said I'm gonna send them your way.
Okay, Key Young is your YouTube channel, right? What do you do on your YouTube channel?
So I do lifestyle content. I do vlogs, box openings and reviews. I am doing Vlogtober. I actually had to film tonight. I'm gonna try my best to film my intro for tonight. So let's hope that I can get that. So I can start for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of my vlogs does contain my children a lot, considering the fact that I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm
yeah,
also a college student. It's okay.
yes.
It's okay.
Oh, she wants the tablet. I heard her
She
that time. I
does.
want
I'm
the
gonna give it to
tablet.
her because she had that other tablet long enough. It's okay.
But anyway, we're gonna get out of here. I love you guys so much. Keith, thank you, and I'll talk to you when I get home. Stay tuned for more wonderful content this week. I'm gonna be taking a day off tomorrow because I got the grandkids in a few minutes. But I love you guys so much. Stay safe, live on purpose, and I will talk to you in the next video or live stream. Bye, guys.
Bye
Bye, Keith.
bye.